Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer, and we are returning to Hearts of Iron 4, playing as Japan, trying to find out whether torpedoes are any good. We had a couple of very good successes against the Americans in the Pacific, and more importantly, just now in October, we are just coming out of a very interesting battle in the Bay of Bengal, where we have actually sunk quite a couple of enemy cruisers, which we should be able to see over here. Yeah, so the Battle of Bengal, we did lose one heavy and one light cruiser, but the Americans lost 12 cruisers and 11 destroyers, so that was a very good result. But more importantly than that, we do know that there's this American fleet, the remnants basically of that battle, and they're trying to run to Madras. I heavily suspect that they are running to Madras, where they'll probably be trying to repair. And that's going to be interesting because we do know that some of these ships are heavily damaged, and it's four carriers, American aircraft carriers, in this group, and a heavy cruiser, so that is certainly a very tempting target. On the other hand, our forces are also withdrawing. They're getting back to Singapore to be fixed up. Some of them are okay, but especially this fleet has been shot up to pieces, especially the Harukaze, which is just down to 1.4 strength and has actually some rudder issues. So yeah, we do need to lick our wounds. They are doing the same, but we do of course want to drive home the attack. So we've ordered a couple of naval bombers to come over here and potentially do some port strikes over there, but that's mostly going to be a harassing action. So what I do actually want to do is take the Kido with its 4 aircraft carriers and 3 battleships, and we are going to base it over here, and that should be alright. So we are actually gonna ask it to not watch over this region anymore, so that's alright. Do you have any area that you're now watching? I don't think you should. So yeah, let's add this region to its strike force character, and we are gonna put it into the port at Triancomale. That's gonna use up a lot of fuel, and I'm gonna talk about fuel in a second. But yeah, we are pulling that force back from basically our base in Truk. On the other hand, the 1st Heavy Scout Force is still repairing from some of the earlier battles, so you should be able to see that some of these ships are being repaired, just minor repairs in a couple of days, but most importantly, the Ibuki is just being in dock for 22 days, so we do want to get these 2 battle cruisers back online before we do anything with that. Also, a lot of these torpedo cruisers we'll simply need to get back up in line for this to be an important asset, and we're actually going to ask it to not go onto a strike mission, so it's simply docked here and it's going to repair, and that's alright. Good. Other than that, we should, I think, take the torpedo fleet, consisting of some light cruisers and some destroyers, and we are going to ask it to not watch over this sector, but instead actually watch over the Bay of Bengal as well. And that does leave a lot of forces over here. Okay, so the other ones are our submarines. And you know what? That's alright. That does also leave a couple of patrols in the Eastern Micronesian waters. The 2nd Battle Fleet, the Slow Cruiser Group, and an Anti-Submarine Warfare Group. I think the Anti-Submarine Warfare Group we can pull back towards the ASW Group B, which is watching over this area and watching over our convoy, so that's alright. 1st Cruiser Group being repaired. Mining submarines are still trying to lay mines in the Hawaiian Ridge. Our normal mining group is dealing in Eastern Micronesia, which I think is fine because there are a lot of issues there, so that's alright. And yeah, again, the 2nd Battle Fleet though, you're on a patrol mission actually. That I imagine must burn a lot of fuel. Let's put you on a strike force mission and bring you into the naval base at Raccoon. That should be alright. Otherwise you'll just be patrolling, and I think that's going to be a little bit too much. Right, these 2 submarines are patrolling in that area, so that's okay. Who's on a strike force here then? The landing support group. I do not want you to be on a strike force here. Nor do I want you to patrol, so that's fine. Okay, so that means we are pushing up a lot of our forces into the Indian Ocean theater, except for the ones that are repairing. We are looking very much forward to receiving the advanced centimetric radar in 40 days. At that point we are probably going to refit a couple of our ships If you're very attentive, you can also see that we are now researching separate fire mains, because I think we've seen that a lot of the issues that we had were with critical hits. So we are trying to reduce their effect and their likeliness. You can also see that I actually finished up researching fuel refining 3, and we were about half done with that, or we were exactly half done with that. And I just cheated and gave me that technology via the console, and the reason for that is that we had, due to the co-liquidification national focus, we should actually have gotten a research bonus, and we never got that. So, you know, I just manually reinserted it, and that should be alright. Does mean we are getting a little bit more fuel, mostly due to our trades with the Soviet Union, where we are paying a lot. We're importing a lot of oil from the Soviet Union, yeah. So 88, sending them 11 factories, which is quite generous, I think, of us. Looking around here, though, we can reuse our steel imports a little bit, so that's alright. Very low supplies in this area. Oh yeah, we've been cut off, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. We are attacking and advancing into that area, so that should be alright. Good. So, yeah, very much definitively these American forces are running to Madras, I think. And that's fine. That's actually pretty good for us. Good. So, other than that, we are trying to prepare some of these naval invasions, but not quite managing to do about that, but we'll have to see. Good. You see more American forces down here. Let's take a quick swing by Europe as well. So, Romania and Germany still pushing against the Soviet Union. Moscow still hasn't fallen, so that's pretty good. And I do like to see a somewhat balanced match, even though Germany has advanced much more further in the north, and I think Romania has done a fairly good job here in the south. Nationalist Spain has joined. That does mean we are now seeing some battles down here in the northern African theater. Particularly with some Germans here down in Marrakesh. That's interesting. And yeah, the Germans were in Africa for a long time, so yeah, we'll have to see how all of that turns out. Another interesting factor would be that the UK has apparently invaded Sicily, so yeah, let's see about that. Gibraltar has also fallen, so all of the American and British convoys now need to route the entirety around Africa, and we might be able to use that in some fashion at some point. Let's accelerate time slightly here, just because I want to primarily get rid of that notification. Yeah, there we go, that's good to see. Can I ask you to refrain from attacking here for a second? Right, and that's okay. We've also set up another attack mission down here and Frontline, which I think is important simply because that will keep these units in formation, and that's alright. Good. We're very happy, by the way, about this airfield. We're all trying to build up a couple of these things, so that's okay. We have fuel coming in, but it's actually not that quick, not as quick as I would have hoped. You know what? You can advance into here, because that gentleman has no organization whatsoever. Good. Why are you attrition? Because it's very hot. That's alright. Are you not in any way acclimated to that? Yes, you are. Oh, that's good. Alright, so we should also have a couple of Marines that I forgot about at some point. Let's bring them over towards, well, I guess, Busan. Although there are a lot of American ships in that region, let's actually bring it directly into Shanghai. And hopefully not meet any American submarines. Because they have been annoying. Oh, look at that. Okay, so the Americans apparently left Madras already and are now engaging against us. We have lost a submarine, but they've lost a light cruiser. More importantly though, they have a carrier here. Where are they going with this, I wonder? Our submarines are also trying to withdraw, so a good trade for us, obviously, but where are they going? I would have loved them to stay in Madras. We are apparently still spotting an enemy fleet here, but I think what we need to do is take these submarines, and add the Indian Ocean as a patrol area. Is this where the Americans are? You know, but if... Wait a minute, you're not in this port, are you? No, just a couple of light cruisers. And these guys are apparently going to mount us. Interesting. Interesting choice. Really. Very low supplies down here? Why is that then? Do we need more ports to keep everyone supplied? Might very well be. Let's take a second here. So we've spotted an enemy here, light cruisers. So they are trying to run away. The AI is apparently not very stupid, which is unfortunate. Okay, and we do have a battle. Is that correct? Yeah, we do. 6 submarines. You are trying to engage, and they are trying to run away. I'm not too comfortable reaching out into the Indian Ocean, but let's see, and let's bring in our carriers. Because that battle, it's just too tempting a target. Couple of our submarines engaging light cruisers and destroyers. Our carriers are now joining in. I would actually not have liked that to happen, because I want these guys to be somewhere else, but on the other hand, if they do gain some experience, that's lovely. Yeah, there we go. A destroyer sunk. So 2 light cruisers, a destroyer sunk, and a couple of carrier fighters. Shot down, obviously. So they do have 3 carriers. I thought they'd be here. So it looks like the American fleets are a little bit disjointed. And apparently some of them are trying to run that way, and that's okay. But still, we do have the Intrepid here. Okay, so our task force is streaming back towards. Yeah, they are trying to run out of Madras. And we have been spotting them, so that's okay. We've also been engaging them. USS Wasp has been damaged by land-based aircraft. Interestingly enough, we can't quite seem to catch them. And where on earth are you going? You know what? Let's bring our close air support ship aircraft into Singapore and watch over the Straits of Malacca. And that's alright. Probably gonna take a little bit longer than that, but still that's fine. Okay, so the landing support group now also covers the Strait of Malacca. And hopefully you can engage against these guys. Okay, let's actually rebase you to Singapore. Because I would love to get these carriers, wherever they are now. So there is a combat going on down here with the Intrepid. And a couple of our submarines. Come on. Deal damage. That would be so lovely. What a game of cat and mouse, really. So our carriers are now here. And you know, since you are here, let's find out one thing. Over this area, can you do some port strikes? Well, apparently you cannot. Okay, so all of these ships have disengaged, which is unfortunate. We are getting some fuel done here, so that's good. Have we actually got our naval aircraft here? We do. But they are probably very inefficient. For now, at least. Another naval battle down here with a couple of destroyers. The weather is extremely bad. Which is fair enough. Ooh, our submarines are being damaged by these destroyers. No, but we actually did manage to sink a submarine. Ah, but just due to the aircraft that... Sorry, we were able to destroy a destroyer. Nice! I didn't even see that battle, but apparently these guys did join up. And the Wasp, Intrepid, by Yamashiro and Oi. Very nice. Yamashiro, Kumar, Excellent results. So 2 more American carriers sunk. There must be 2 more though, so we are still definitely gonna try to find them. But that was a very nice result for us right there. Very low supplies? Down here, really? Ah, okay, because you don't actually have a port. That's fine. Try to get one. And I appreciate that this is done now. And this is done. So that's good. We should also hopefully see that our Marines have made it onto that area, so that's good. You are now part of this front line. So please do come over here by railroad. It's going to take you a while, but I feel more comfortable doing it that way rather than with any sort of transfer via sea. Good. So you guys are still in principle preparing for these invasions, which I think is alright, but we should probably try to take some of these further islands down here. So let's do a couple of small naval invasions. Just a little bit of island hopping. I know that's not the correct term, but yeah. Principally trying to deny some bases down here towards the enemy. Good. We have spotted an enemy task force in the Mariana region. Interestingly enough. And in the Bay of Bengal. And there's actually naval combat in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, it's just the destroyers, which we did manage to sink quite nicely. Good. You should actually repair now. And we are getting low on submarines. We are taking some submarine losses. And since we are not rebuilding any submarines, we are focusing on torpedo cruisers. That is a little bit of an issue. Guys, do support this. Okay, I just want to make sure that that front line is somewhat stable so that we can advance further into the British Raj territory. How long does it take for our research to be finished? Just a couple of days on these air and ground operations, so that's good. So far we haven't really been able to do any port strike here, which I find unsatisfying. Well, maybe the weather isn't quite up to it. Ooh, interestingly enough. So the Americans do come out in force over here as well. I actually managed to damage our submarine pretty heftily, but we on the other hand did sink a destroyer and managed to do quite a bit of damage on Enterprise and Hornet, so I honestly very much appreciate that. And let's have a look at whether the heavy scout force is ready for action. It really isn't. Yeah, just look at some of these. Look at some of the time it takes to repair some of these ships. A day, yes, but here you have all of these ships need months to come back online, especially the ones that were heavily damaged, which does make sense, of course. And in the Caroline Islands we have. I wonder, shouldn't we have a lot more light cruisers? Were all of them sunk? I don't quite understand. So we do have 2 aircraft carriers. I don't think we want to engage over here. But it's good to have our submarines there, just to spot for our aircraft, which is a really nice combination. And you know what? We actually should turn this into normal high priority so that we do get alerted about times when we... Ooh, Enterprise being strongly damaged. Just our land-based aircraft might be able to do a lot of damage over there. And that would certainly be very nice. Pardon me. So, yeah, all of that is being readied. This ship will then flow into that one, so that's okay. Right, so most of our forces are still over here. Even though I'm not too sure we'll actually be able to find any enemy here. They have probably moved out, which is a shame, but nothing we can do about that. Just a couple of days, so that's all good. Right, we also have quite a bit of air experience, so you know what? Something that we do maybe want to do is take our naval bombers and create another variant where we are simply increasing their range, and that I do think is a very good thing for us. So let's decommission that, and let's make sure to produce the latest variant. GMAKB, yes please. Could convert stuff. That would be fairly quick, but I don't think we actually need that. It's not that efficient. We do see more ships down here, which is good. And yeah, we are patrolling that area. How about you? Yeah, so some of these ships might have gotten away. Oh, you know what? Maybe that... Yeah, I think that was maybe it. So I think these two carriers that we did see over here were coming out of the Bay of Bengal via Singapore and just streaming through our territory, which is honestly not the most realistic thing. At any rate, we do see a big group over there. And you know what, we do probably want to go over here and only engage at medium risk. Because that I do find frightening. 8 capital ships. Yeah. So that's actually the main American battle fleet, unless they do have 2. 7 battleships, 20 destroyers. That's definitely not something that we do want to engage. I'm actually going to ask the Kidobutai for a second here to only engage at low risk. I do not want you to engage 7 battleships. Where's that fleet? It's over here. Streaming towards the north. Okay. Well, we haven't lost contact. It's basically patrolling in that space. I'm not sure I feel too comfortable about that. Okay, but let's look at our air groups. So a couple of updates needed. I think it would be fine if we refocused on providing cover for our land-based stuff. So at least our tactical bombers should really be mainly concerned with that. Let's actually put these fighters up here. We do have 200 fighters down there. And yeah, these port strikes I think by now are a little bit redundant, so we probably do not need that. We do have naval bombers all the way over here, so that is good, I think. It does sort of leave me with Malaya. I mean, we could cover a lot more in general. We don't have anything covering the Philippine Sea. Okay, let's bring the naval bombers back to Singapore. That's alright. And then you guys should not do naval strikes. You should be doing close air support. 400 aircraft down there. This is an 800 aircraft base, so let's put you over northern India. And that should be fairly fine. Good. Alright, so resistance occupation, yes, we know about that. Not much that we can do about that. 2. Ooh, oh. So this is dangerous. We do have this battleship squadron holding position over there, or even patrolling. And we do have a single destroyer group, and our carriers have just ventured out to try and capture that single destroyer. So actually, you know what, let's get over here because I don't want to risk my entire battle fleet or my main battle fleet for a single destroyer. Even our submarines should be disengaging from that. Naval combat, yes, we know about that. Insufficient resources, it's just a little bit of steel, so not too dramatic. As long as we do get notifications when there are other naval wars, so that should be okay. Come on guys, just break that one province, and then you have a nice river to defend. Yeah, this line is also a little bit windy. Direct ground support, very lovely. I think we'll go right into formation fighting. Where we will of course spend 100 air experience just to bring that down to 120 days. That should be fairly okay. We're probably going to do something very similar. Oh, we need more steel now. Probably because some of our repairs have finished and we are instead producing new ships instead of just finishing up the repair of these ones. Still, months that we are taking here to repair these ships. By the way, I just want to make sure there's no bug. Armored operations, of course, entirely irrelevant for us because we don't do armored operations, but reduced supply consumption, I would very much appreciate that. Good. And the most important research that we are still looking for, 15 days away, so that's alright. Spotted enemy navies, yes, down here. Okay, so that's just these destroyers, and that's okay. Good. So how about that steel that we are lacking? Let's buy some from the Soviet Union, because why not? Could modify our government, but there's not... I don't really need a tank designer, so we are not going to do that. Naval combat, fine, you know what? So let's get rid of some of these notifications. Apparently a British fleet, is it? Probably only destroyers though, so that doesn't have to be too relevant. Okay, you know what? That actually means we can put these submarines out of that region and back into these regions, and we will ask them to actually go back to convoy raiding. And that should give us some good results over here. Yeah, we're actually withdrawing from that battle, so... Have we spotted another navy down here? We have not. Ah, but we do have some free dockyards. So that certainly is very lovely. Let's make sure to prioritize these ships up here. Good. And then soon we should see more of those. But again, in about, what, 13 days, we're going to get more and better radar technology. And at that point we are probably going to refit some of our ships. And that should be alright. So, Heavy Scout Force does get some of its cruisers back. That is very good to see. How does it look in terms of... Oh, we're still lacking steel? Why does it go to the top one? It should never be deducted at the top. Weird. Very weird. What? Why are all lacking resources? We only lack a little bit of steel. Funny. Alright, so all of that is fine. Don't really have any complaints there. How many light cruisers have you got now? 7. I think that's way too little. A, I think that's way too little, and B, I'm not sure whether we want these ships, who have a speed of 28, or whether we want to go all torpedo class on this one. What's the speed of our capital ships? It's much higher than that, so you know what? We're going to actually split off these two light cruisers. Create a new task force there. And you know what? The Kido Butai does have these types of cruisers. So we're going to merge that up. And that does mean we need about, well, at least 5 more light cruisers over here. So we are going to pick them from over here. You know what? Let's take these 4. Split them off. And connect these guys up. Lovely. Very good. Some unread naval battle results. Yep, just a couple of destroyers. Spotted enemy navies. That's fine. Oh, submarine battle. Okay. And so that can go back to low prioritization. Strike force. Who's patrolling over here? Landing support group. Okay, so you're moving out and you're covering that area. You know what? I think I'm pretty fine with that. Good. Yeah, and again, in just a couple of days, we will be seeing more action on the naval side. Good result. Happy about that. More free dockyards, and since it's just a couple of days, 10 days, I think what we probably do best is... That's probably also going to finish very, very soon. So yeah, you know what? Let's actually build a couple of convoys. Just a couple. Really to make the most use of our time. Ace pilot promoted, that's lovely. Down here, should we get more marines? Oh, probably on their way. Whoop. That was weird. Okay. Let's ask these gentlemen to start with these 2 attacks. Probably not gonna do that because you are afraid of what's gonna happen over here. But you know what, that's fine. Heavy industry development for Manchuria, so that's okay. We don't really need more building slots for them. I don't think we want light industry development, so I think we're actually gonna go down here. And we are gonna go to, obviously, naval production, so that we have more naval output. And apparently we do have a couple of free military factories, which is, I guess, nice. Where do we want to put that? In maybe a little bit now in land-based naval bombers. And a little bit into infantry equipment production. Because very soon we are going to get better infantry weapons as well. Yeah, actually before the radar, so that's lovely. So, a little bit of an uneventful turn. Who's patrolling me here? Just these submarines. Actually pull them back from the Mariana region, and that's alright. And then we can ask the landing support forces to actually cover Eastern Micronesia, and that entails moving the 2nd Battle Fleet into Kuala... I always don't know how to pronounce that. Kwajalein? Kwajalein? I don't know. So yeah, that is going to cover that area. This area, I don't think we actually will see any carrier battles over here, but still we got 2 of them, so I'm pretty happy about that result. Also happy that apparently we are pushing a little bit against the British Raj, and that's good to see. Also our submarines are back in action over there.